Did you know that you have superpowers that are just waiting to be discovered? No, it doesn't take being bit by a radioactive spider or some sort of out-of-world experience to discover what these superpowers are. Allow me to guide you through 8 steps you can do to unlock your gifts and superpowers so that you can achieve your full potential and make a greater impact in your world. Are you ready for that? Like to unlock your full potential and live a life of purpose and fulfillment. If so, you are in the right place. We're going to be diving into this. Now, my name is Jake Talbert, and I'm the founder and chief giver over at the GIVER Method. Now, the GIVER Method, what we're all about is we're all about helping people to identify what their gifts and superpowers are so they can find the right group of influence in their sphere of influence, who are the right people to work with to make an impact on and being super intentional with. How do you create value for those people without asking for anything in return? And how do you make each engagement, interaction, discussion, whatever it may be, as effective and eager as possible? Because when you do that, you take these gifts and superpowers that you have and you give them in this way through every discussion, interaction, and engagement. What you're going to notice is that you start to step into who it is that you are meant to be. You're going to start to notice deeper relationships, or what I call relationship riches, which are the deeper, more meaningful connection with others. And the big thing is that when you do this, you are inviting the universe to pay you back. When you give with your superpowers and you don't ask for anything in return, there's no expectation, the universe does find ways to pay you back. Now, it's not every single time, because I would go against exactly what I just said, but it finds ways to always pay you back. You just have to keep an eye out for it. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've helped a lot of people realize that and see those things that start to bubble up for them, these opportunities or these better relationships that happen along the way. So I want to help you to dive into that as well. So are you ready to really unlock, to discover what that full potential could look like and what that life of personal fulfillment could be? Well, we're going to dive through that as a part of everything. Now, I know what you may be thinking is, Jake, like, I'm just trying to get through my day, like personal fulfillment and finding superpowers and all this, like, this all sounds like a luxury. But what if I told you that tapping into your true potential could not only bring more joy, but also make your daily life easier and more meaningful? Whether you're feeling stuck, unfulfilled, or simply want to live a life with deeper meaning and impact, like, the answer lies in discovering and using your unique gifts and superpowers. I mean, that's what I call them. I always refer to them as superpowers. Now, before we dive in, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, like the video, comment along the way, of course. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and share this with someone who may need it. We don't want you to miss out on any of the content that we give through the GIVER Method to help you unlock your potential, and also it helps us to create a positive ripple effect as you share it out with other people. You can also find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those sorts of places. Now, as I cover these 8 steps, these things that you can do to unlock it, I'm going to give you the step and some details around it, and then I'm going to give you an action item to go do. And I highly recommend that you grab a piece of paper or open up a note or something so you can write down these action items. Each one of those action items is going to allow you to put into motion that step, or practice, put it into motion today, this week, this month, so that you can start truly discovering your gifts and superpowers and seeing how you could live this more fulfilled life. So highly recommend that you do that. If you need to pause the video, then go ahead, but let's go ahead and move forward. The step 1, the first thing that we always want to start with, is what we call is just self-discovery. Like, this is about, you have to be continually exploring and developing your gifts. It's an ongoing process. It never ends, but you have to start by reflecting on what it is that you're good at. What are the things that you lose track of time on? Where are you in your flow state? What is it people come to you for help on? Like, this self-discovery is going to help you to bubble things up about yourself and help you identify what these things could be. Now, I remember when I first started my journey on this idea of creating the GIVER Method, like, I thought I knew myself really well, but I was in for a surprise. I mean, I've always been known for helping businesses to break down complex things and processes into more scalable systems and to build those into technology, CRMs and automation tools. This idea of helping people in personal development and professional development and discovering their superpowers, like, this is an all new world to me at that point. And through lots of study, though, and consistent reflection and getting feedback from others, which is great to go to others and ask them, what do you think I'm the best at? What do you think my superpower is? They'll give you some amazing feedback. But by me going through that sort of a process, I discovered that helping others with the GIVER Method, like, it is exactly what I was meant to do. And this realization, like, it changed everything for me. It changed how I looked at it. So then I started to sit down and say, okay, well, how could I craft this in a way that as I do so, I can make an impact on others' lives using the GIVER method, using my own gifts and superpowers. So your action item here, I would say you want to start a superpower inventory. Each day, write down one thing you did exceptionally well, you enjoyed doing, what you lost track time of. You may know what your superpowers are. You may know what they are. I believe each person should have 3 to 5 that they either can use or are working on at any given point, so that when those situations arise, you can be like, I know that I can make an impact here. Like over time, as you do these reflections of this superpower inventory, you're going to notice that patterns are going to emerge, and they're going to start really revealing what those gifts could be that you would then need to start to develop. Step 2 is that you need to make sure that you have purpose alignment. Now, it's about connecting your superpowers with your life's mission. I can remember a time when I was working in very much corporate America and in kind of that sea of cubicles that people talk about. And I've had a couple of realization moments when I did that. One time, I woke up one day and I realized, oh my gosh, being a part of this large juggernaut, like I'm just not able to make the impact I want. And it was a realization that I could use my gifts and superpowers if I worked in more aligned with a company that had the same values as I do and could make impact in people's lives. And so what I was able to do was I was able to transition into a different company, a small business, where we were actually helping entrepreneurs, we were helping small businesses, and I could see that the work that we did on a call would have an impact in that business immediately or over the next couple of weeks or months. And so I knew that that aligned with where my purpose was. My purpose was to make an impact, to really see how I can change the trajectory of people's lives for the better. How do I help people win back their time, energy, and money? Like, these are all things that aligned with me so much in my purpose that I wanted to find the ways that I could do that. And the easiest way to do that was through working with these small businesses and entrepreneurs and helping them to do it in their lives, hoping that that cascades down into the people that they interact with's lives as well. The action item here, of course, is going to be just go create a purpose statement. Write down what your core values are, how you want to use your superpowers to serve, to serve others. How do you want to serve people utilizing those, core values that you have? Now, this statement is going to guide your actions. It's going to help you to set goals that are truly aligned with what your life's mission is. Step 3 is all about goal setting. Goal setting comes up a lot, and I am going to pull something specifically from my corporate world to describe this, but it's not just any goals. Like, what we're talking about is objectives that help you to leverage your unique gifts. When I set out to write the book, The GIVER Method, like, that's a big thing. I've never written a book like this. It's in a different field than I was in. Like, there's all sorts of things. And so I had to start breaking it down into chunks of just realizing, okay, well, I'm not going to write a book today. I need to go through phases. And in each phase, I need to be as specific as I can, know what it is that I'm looking to achieve with that, and then make sure that I put some sort of a time restraint on it. And so for the first few months, like, I set the goal where I was like, okay, during this period of time, I'm all research. I'm going to be heads down. I'm going to watch every video. I'm going to read every article. I'm going to read every book that I can. And then the next 3 months, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start breaking those down into how they fit within the GIVER method and really start to organize the thoughts. Then the following 3 months was, let's start writing the book and getting the book out there. So wrote the book, got it ready to go, and started to get it into the hands of different readers on a beta level. And so it allowed me to not feel like I was overwhelmed, and allow me to move through this very daunting task to some people, very methodically and very easily. And a lot of people talk about, oh, that's a big thing. I'm like, yeah, but it's actually felt really easy because of the way I set the goals. And then, of course, I tried to rely as much as I could on my gifts and superpowers along the way to help me push through those goals. So action item here is to create a goal, achievement tracker. Number 1, you need to write down your goals. You need to have, in the corporate world, they talk a lot about SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That, you want to create those that align with your gifts and your purpose. And then map out the steps that you need to take to reach each of those milestones along the way, and use the tracker to monitor your progress. Now, remember, every little bit that you step closer is a win. So no matter how small of a step forward that is, it is a win. So use that tracker to celebrate the wins along the way. Step 4, of course, is going to be all about resilience building. So this is about using setbacks as opportunities to refine what your superpowers may be. Now, I've had plenty of failures in my life. I've had plenty of setbacks and things that have happened. One that particularly happened was I was applying for a job that, every job I'd ever applied for, I got. And it was really easy for me to, go in. I was great at interviewing, great at presenting who I was and what I was about. And I wanted to work for this company really badly. And so I was doing all I could and got through a couple rounds of interviews, and they said, "Hey, we're turning you down." And it was like, oh my gosh, this is a massive failure. And luckily, the person who ran the company, he has this gift and superpower to see potential in people. And so he looked at me and said, "Look, I want to give you some advice." And he gave me some very clear things, like, if whether you work here or somewhere else in the future, here are things you need to really think about that you could focus on for yourself. And to me, it felt like a failure in the moment. But it was actually because of that my eyes were open to the world that I really wanted to be in. And it helped me to awake from this like corporate world that I was in and start to be like, oh my gosh, I can make that greater impact. And over time, naturally, that helped me to discover my gifts and superpowers and start to refine what it was that they were. And so I look back on that experience, and at the time, it sucked. I hated it. But as I look back on it, it was a pivotal moment that truly changed my life. And the next time I actually ended up working for that company, a year later when I interviewed, I was like, all right, he said, anytime I do anything with him, it should be 110%. Let me do that. And although I probably wasn't the most qualified person, I got the job, and it was because I outworked every person. I did all the things that they wanted me to do. So the action item here, start a failure journal, like a failure journal. Use it to reflect on the setbacks you faced and then what you've learned from them and how you can use that knowledge to keep moving forward. It's going to help you to build some resilience and see failures as like stepping stones for success. They're just a step on the path to where you're wanting to go. And at the same time, like, they help when you maybe feel like you're struggling or feel like you're failing. Like something like this, like a failure journal, it gives you that chance to reflect back and go like, oh yeah, I felt this way before when I did XYZ and I learned da-da-da-da-da. So make sure that you keep this type of a journal. I highly recommend journaling and doing reflection time all the time, but use this opportunity to identify what those failures could be. Now, step 5 is all about creating joy, like joy cultivation. And it's about finding happiness in using your gifts to benefit others. Now, one of the gifts I've always had is I've always been able to make people laugh and smile. I've been able to find the joke, the twist, the fun thing in whatever situation we're in. And so that led me to do comedy. I did comedy for 15 years. And I can remember the day where I actually realized that this was more of like a superpower than it was just like a fun hobby I had. I had a friend who was going through cancer treatment. And we decided to put on a benefit show to help raise money for him and his family since he was unable to work. And, everyone came in, we sold out the show. As people walked in, I could see in their faces, there was just this like, this look on their faces that, they were downtrodden. There were things happening. And then we started the show, and I was on stage, and as I looked out, everybody in the crowd, including my friend who was going through the treatment, they all had these big smiles on their faces. And it made me realize that as I use my superpower, this gift of being able to put smiles on people's faces, to make people laugh, I'm helping them to forget about all their struggles, all their problems that they have. And for that brief period of time, however long it may be, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes, whatever, they're not worried about their treatments. They're not worried about the fight they had with their spouse. They're not worried about their finances. Like in that moment, they are free of any of those things that may be weighing them down. And to me, that is one of the most fulfilling things and brought me so much joy and happiness that it makes me always want to do that, whether it be in a comedy atmosphere or just in day-to-day interactions. So the action item here is going to be to start a joy journal. So we have a failure journal and now a joy journal. And so each day, write down one way that you've used your superpower to help someone else and how it made you feel and how you can find more joy in that. Step 6 is going to be all about self-compassion. I talk a lot about this. I've done plenty of videos. I think my last video, we covered self-compassion a lot. And it is so critical, so crucial to be kind to yourself as you develop your superpowers. Like, you're going to struggle. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have these things that happen. You're going to feel like, I can't do this. And it's like, well, great. Just add yet to the end. I can't do this yet. I'm not there yet. Like, just, it totally shifts it. Like, I struggle with this type of idea myself all the time. And I know that I have on more than one occasion in my mind given myself that head trash and berated myself when I fell short of what I felt was the perfect thing I needed to be. And it wasn't until I learned to treat myself with the same kindness that I showed others that I really started to be able to thrive and grow faster. So go ahead and create some sort of a self-care plan. Write down, 3 self-care activities that you can do that help you to recharge your mentality, your emotion, recharge you physically, whatever it may be. Schedule time for these activities each week to ensure that you're taking care of yourself as you pursue these goals. One of my favorite ways to recharge is to just be hanging out with my boys. I've got 3 boys, and I could have the most stressful day of work. I could be anxiety filled. I could have all sorts of things and doubt. And I walk in the door and it bleeds away. And it helps me to recharge myself. So whatever the things may be for you, it could be shopping, it could be, doing some sort of a hobby, it could be running, exercise, whatever that thing is, make time in your week to do those things. Now, step 7 is about this idea of creating a legacy, which not a lot of people think about, but it involves using your gifts to make what's the lasting impact, what's the long-term impact that you can make in someone's life. When I think of legacy, I think of my grandma. And my grandma, she has the ability to love everyone and see through everyone's flaws. She had 7 kids, 7 kids, and, they have 50 some odd grandkids and, 70 some odd great grandkids. And you would have no idea that any one of them is her favorite or least favorite. The black sheep of the family are as equally loved as the person who is the shining example. And it was that way with every person that she comes in contact with. Every person had so much value and so much to her that she just wanted to love them and make them feel that way and feel special. And that's a legacy that, as I look at my aunts and uncles, and I look at my cousins from that side of the family, and all of the great grandkids, including my own boys, like, it is a legacy that's like, no, you show love and compassion no matter what that may be. And it had this lasting impact that's going to impact thousands over time. And it started with her just always finding that way to love others. So the action item here is pretty easy. Create whatever a legacy statement may be. Write down like how I want to be remembered. What actions can I take today, this week, this month? Like, what can I do that's going to help me to start building a legacy that has a much more lasting impact? And then it's about making daily choices that align with the impact that you want to leave behind long term. And then step 8, of course, is continuing learning. You have to have this growth mindset. Superpowers, they can easily be honed and expanded. Sometimes it's something that just comes so natural to you that you're like, oh yeah, it's this. There are plenty of superpowers that I've developed and I've helped other people develop that isn't natural to them. And it just took them time to study and develop and work on it to really create the gift and superpower that they needed or they wanted. Like, I make it a point to learn something new related to my superpowers every single week. I try to always be on top of reading books, watching videos, articles, whatever the thing may be. So whether it's a book or a workshop or having a conversation with someone in a different field, like continuous learning, it's always going to help you with growing and evolving your superpowers. So the action item here is going to be to commit to learning one activity, like do one learning activity each week that's going to help you to develop what your gifts and superpowers are. Once again, books, articles, videos, practicing a skill, whatever that thing may be. Now, over time, there are challenges that do bubble up. There are probably 3 or 4 that I see a lot. Number 1 is just maintaining that motivation during the periods of slow, balancing personal fulfillment and external expectations. There's this idea of overcoming fear of failure and stretching your abilities, imposter syndrome, and then just dealing with changing interests and evolving powers. Remember that these challenges, they're totally normal and they can be overcome as long as you're persistent and you kind of have the right mindset. You just have to know that you're going to be working past those things because they will come up. I know that they're coming down the road and I know how I'm going to move past them. Now, the GIVER method, it's not just about helping others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself so that you can make that greater impact. And when you unlock your potential and find personal fulfillment, you have so much more to give the world. Think about your superpowers. Maybe you're super great at empathy, or have a knack for problem solving. When you take these gifts and you develop them and align them with your purpose, and you not just improving your own life, but looking to change the world around you, you're going to see such amazing things that come to you, so many opportunities, so much deeper relationships that you have based off of that. So I want to challenge you to start this journey towards personal fulfillment. Your gifts and superpowers, like, they're super unique to you. You're the only person that has the combination of experiences and things to create the gifts and superpowers you have, and the world needs it. So start small. Try that, inventory, superpower inventory, or the joy journal, whatever thing may be. Each day, like, take one step towards aligning your actions with your superpowers and your purpose. And remember that personal fulfillment, like, it isn't some destination that you get to, it's a journey, and you have to find the joy as you go. By using the GIVER method, you can really make that journey incredibly rewarding, and not just rewarding for yourself, but for everyone around you in your sphere of influence, everyone that you come in contact with. And if you're ready to take this to the next level, if you want to dive deeper, then I recommend you go to thegivermethod.com. You can sign up for our newsletter list. You can get on the book release list, which there's going to be some information coming out extremely soon about that. We may have a book out before the holidays, so that'll be exciting. You can sign up for the newsletter, sign up for the book. You can see how you can have us come do speaking on stages, podcasts, the services we offer, things like that. Go check them out, thegivermethod.com. Of course, you can check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those places. Share this video with people who may need it. Like it. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Once again, share it with someone who may need it, because you may know someone that needs this idea of being able to be woken up to what their gifts and superpowers could be. So let's spread that power of personal fulfillment, not only to yourself, but as far and wide as we can. So until next time, keep growing, keep giving, and remember that your superpowers are key to your personal fulfillment and your ability to change the world. Use them wisely. Believe in yourself. I believe in you. The universe is waiting for you to step into who it is that you're meant to be, using your gifts and superpowers to make the impact that you're meant to make. So you need to believe in yourself and start taking the actions to do that today. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you hopefully in the next video.